now, so hopefully I don't have to run in the middle. Close down my liquid.
Check, check. Okay. 7 o'clock, are y'all ready? 7 o'clock, are y'all ready? All right. I'd like to call the April 18th, 2023 meeting of the Irmo Town Council to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Councilman Eric Sickinger. Please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stand with me in a moment of silence. Various religions, and we consider the town council meeting. Hope that we serve our residents, make good decisions today. Thank you.
Thank you. The reading of the minutes the minutes that were sent to us electronically from March 21st, 2023 was accepted by the council. I make a motion we accept those minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any changes to the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. On April 4th, we had minutes taken at our workshop, and those were sent to us electronically. Is there a motion for acceptance of the April 4th workshop minutes?
So move.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Seeing that there's nobody opposed to them. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. For the standing, administrative briefing, that was sent to us electronically also. Are there any changes for the administrator from the administrative briefing we got? No changes. Is there any changes for the council from the administrator?
Mr. Mayor and Council, I just wanted to inform you, I was informed today that Richland County is planning a public information meeting on April 27th from 5 to 7 p.m. at Dutch Fork Elementary, and this is in reference to the Broad River Road widening project. So April 27th at Dutch Fork Elementary between 5 and 7. I'll email you guys out, and we will put it on our website and Facebook, social media, so we can let the public know. But the county is planning on unveiling some more drawings and get some public feedback on the widening project.
And this is from I-26 all the way up to Broad River split?
Split.
Okay. Anything else? Seeing none? Oh, anything else? Seeing none? Mr. Sickinger, do we have any new in-town businesses?
We sure do, Mr. Mayor. We have 3 on the Tree Garage, Barbara Kelly LLC, Charles Schwab Independent Agency, Decision Dynamics, Dessert Before Dinner, Sophie's Landscaping, South Point Commercial Building Maintenance, SN Nails, the Auto Club Group, Thrifty Treasures, Tri-County Home Health Care, and I think that's it. Yeah, it's still quite a bit, though.
It's a new? Okay.
You know what, there's a mismatch between the slide and here, so I also want to make sure I cover them. Cigars Are Us and TJ McKay Entertainment.
Thank you. Bunch of businesses, that's good. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Seeing none? Consideration and communications. Will you all join me down below, please? As y'all know, every month we recognize a business in Irmo. Anybody from Burn Group here? Oh, there you are. We recognize a business in the town of Irmo. Thank y'all so much for coming out and being recognized. And this is a, okay. Okay. Anyway, this is the presentation by us to you and recognizing you being the small business of the month for the town of Irmo for the month of April 2023. Well, congratulations, and if you would. Thank you. Give them a big hand. Thank you. Tell us a little bit about your business. What do y'all do?
So we are a gym. We are a co-ed gym, and we also offer great reasons why we purchased it. We actually purchased this gym in December. This little one arrived on January 24th, so it was a very hectic few weeks for us. And we focus on inspiring and empowering people in the health and fitness journey. We are about to run a promotion starting May 1st, 4 weeks for $99.
We start at like 5 o'clock in the morning or something?
We do have camps. We have camps that start at 5:30 a.m., 6:30 a.m., 8:30, 9:30, evening camps from 4:30 to 5:30. All of our workouts are able to be modified to anybody in their fitness level. We are located at 7595 St. Andrews Road. It is right behind Liberty Ticket, right beside
Well, congratulations, and thank you so much for being
Thank
in
you so
Irmo.
much, Mr. Berry.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to call Mr. Jake Moore up here and his family. I'll call you up first, Jake, and then you can take all the pictures with your family. You know, Jake, I've known him for, 20, 25 years at least. You know, he, along with former Mayor Gibbons, recruited me to get on the council, and nobody's fired me yet, so I guess I've been doing all right. But Jake has taught me a lot about politics and how to get around the legal system and how to get the council, how to get through the council disadvantages and advantages and make things happen for the town. But Jake, I wanted to give this to you while you're alive, okay? And, you know, this is always a good point. As mayor of Irmo, I award the key to the town to citizens who have made significant contributions to the town of Irmo. These keys are numbered and are given out infrequently by me, so it's a special honor to be the recipient of the key to the town of Irmo. It's in these special, and it's congratulations for you to become a member of this special class of citizens who receive them. This is the third key I have awarded since I've been mayor. April 18th, 2023, I'm presenting to you Jahu Jake Moore Sr. as the third, your law firm, as the third recipient of the key to Irmo, South Carolina. And I want you to take that. It's my honor. Give that to you. And again, Jake, your service to the community for all those years have been exemplary. And like I said, you continue to teach me and your staff on a daily basis how to be a proper mayor, how to get through issues and get things done for the community. And that's the important thing. We all up here are getting things done. Jake, you want to bring your family up and get some good photographs? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's space over here, too.
Come on, there's space over here. I won't bite, I promise. Come on.
I started representing Irmo. He had potholes in the Friar Gate. The only grocery store out here, a drugstore in the city here where I live, called today I had the pleasure of riding through New Friar Gate and Community Park. And dawned on me how much progress has been made by this 5 years. I've been representing all over this county. And nothing else to do. There are a lot of challenges in front of us. I hope to be around to help you face some of those if you allow. I have no doubt that the transit the recognition that the federal needed very much appreciated. And probably pretty good. But I do want to thank the town.
Congratulations. Yeah, good. Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming out. Hey, okay. Fantastic. All right. If you would, continuing on, community connections. Dr. Wallman, do we have any community connections?
Yes, Mayor, we do. We have several this evening. The first is Irmo's Got Talent, Unity in the Community. This is the rescheduled date of April 22nd. This will be at the Irmo Community Park from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. We also have coming up the Irmo International Festival, and I've asked Dr. Mary Kennerly, one of the organizers, to just tell us a bit about that.
Thank you. I'd like to have these given to the council members, and I'll just put them there. Thank you. Just want to make sure to invite all of you, and thank you, council, so much for your support. I want to say a big thank you to our mayor. He comes to our committee meetings. He's given us a tremendous amount of help, advice, great information. All of the people who work in the town hall have been extremely supportive and helpful. You've got a great team working here, and a really great team of people who are extremely positive and encouraging. But I want you to know a little bit about the festival this year. We have over 100 vendors. We've had to close the registration, and they're still calling this morning saying, please, could we be a vendor? We have a parade, an international parade at 2 o'clock. We have a lot of free activities for children. We've got free face painting, we've got free balloon art, we've got free sidewalk chalk, we've got a professional storyteller who will be there all day, and we have a story tent that will have stories for children, but also some great stories about the history of Irmo throughout the day. So I hope you all, as council members, will come and just enjoy the festival. It's going to be a lot of great food, music, singing, dancing, on-stage entertainment. And I also want to just let you all know that if you have businesses that you're aware of that would like to have a poster during this last week and a half in a window or any place in their business to let people in Irmo know about the festival, on the flyer there's a little card and you can contact me. I'll get that for you. The other thing is we are giving bags to those people who come to the festival, and if there are any businesses in the area that want to put flyers, advertisements, coupons, we'll put those in so that all of the people coming to the festival can know what a great town Irmo is and what's available here. Last year we had people from over 42 zip codes attend the International Festival, and we think it will probably be even more this year. And the goal is to bring business here and to say to people, this is a great place to live. Thank you so much for all of the support that you've given.
Thank you, Dr. Kennerly. We also have coming up on April 27th, the District 5 Literacy Night. This is an event for pre-kindergarten through third grade students. If you're interested in this event, you need to RSVP by April 20th. There's a link on this flyer here, but you can also go to the District 5 website, www.lexridge5.org, to register. And finally, there's going to be a community workshop on elder fraud, sponsored by McGregor Presbyterian Church. This will be on Thursday, May 11th, from 7 to 8 p.m. This is going to be presented by FBI Special Agent Mark McMahon and FBI Officer Robert Price. It's a free workshop. It's open to the public. There's no admission requirement or fee. Mayor Walker, that concludes the announcements for Community Connections.
Thank you. Moving right along, presentation by citizens on agenda items. This is your opportunity to let council know how you feel about things we're about to discuss or vote on in our unfinished business and new business. Sign up on the sheet. Don't worry, I'll give you an opportunity when I finish calling the people that have signed up to want to give us information if you would like to say something. Otherwise, I'll begin calling people up. Right first up is Ms. Cindy Swaggart from Irmo. Are you here? Come on up, Ms. Swaggart. Wendy Swaggart, sorry. I call you Cindy. I know from somebody named Cindy Swaggart. Oh, that's what it was.
I thank you for all you do. I'm here about Carmel Commons and the light on of the cameras that you're thinking of putting up. My house backs up onto Columbia Avenue. I have a low wall, and I have known people climb over my wall, and then when they go back, they get one of my chairs and put it by the wall. I also...
Get back over.
Yeah. I also have the creek on my right-hand side, so I have a double whammy. I have the creek, and I have a pathway coming up to my front yard from the woods by the creek. And I think it's very necessary that we do have cameras. That's all I've really got to say,
Okay,
just to help cut down the crime. Thank you.
thank you. Ms. Maria Jordan. Is that right? Oh, no, well, okay, no problem. Frank, I guess, Frank, are you with Maria? So you just thought it was a Sunday, okay, no problem. All right. Benji Friday.
First of all, I would like to ask the members of Beacon Hill,
Excuse me, you're addressing council, you're not addressing the audience.
okay,
Thank
can
you,
the
ma'am.
people that are here to support and the people that voted you in, are they not allowed to stand up?
Yeah, but you're addressing us,
Okay.
or council.
Would the people of Beacon Hill, Hamilton Park, and Belmont subdivisions, those people that have on red shirts, please stand? Mayor Walker and council members, I believe you took an oath. You think about that oath from time to time? We need cameras. We need protection by a fully staffed police force. We need a 911 system that works. We deserve a safe environment to raise our kids. We have been here time and time again asking for the same things over and over. More gunfire in our neighborhood last night. 911 was called, numerous rings. Finally, I hung up, knowing that someone would have to call me back. Same questions, same issues, not a new problem. If you are sitting in that seat using the excuse that it's happening everywhere, I would not get too comfortable in that seat. We, the citizens, believe that you should be finding solutions and not making excuses. You should be saying, not in this town, not in the town of Irmo. We will not accept this. If for a minute you think throwing money at a school program is going to fix the problem, you are wrong. If gunfire is ringing out in these neighborhoods, what do you think the long-term effects on the children in those neighborhoods will be? These kids cannot live in an unsafe environment and spend 2 hours in an after-school program and that be a solution. The solution is safe homes and a safe neighborhood. It has to be a multifaceted approach and a long-term commitment. Nothing will stand in our way, he said. Here and now, we are poised to do something extraordinary. Your quote, Mayor Walker, your words. Now make those words into actions and not just words. Fix the problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Audra Hosfeld.
And council, just for clarification, my last name is Haywisher for future pronunciation purposes. It's okay, it's a hard one. I don't have a fancy script. I'm sure you have seen my quotes in the media about it. My house was burglarized, and we are on a brink of doing something important tonight, which is a step in the right direction for Beacon Hill and surrounding neighborhoods protection. This is not just the final step in this. We see this as a jurisdiction putting their money where their mouth is and protecting citizens. We really feel this is an important step, and we have some other things that we would like your support on. But tonight, we please ask you guys to vote yes on this important issue. Benji's been fighting this for decades. I've been fighting it since 2018, and Tammy's been fighting it for 5 or 6 years now. Some of you guys have met with us and have known how much we've been fighting this, and we are so thrilled that this is an agenda item finally. So we ask you to please vote yes on this. Thank you.
Ms. Tammy Pierce.
Good evening. Mayor, once again, you are coming to council for hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars for a program that is your pet project. January 22, this program was presented to council by Alonzo Johnson and Dr. Akil Ross requesting $313,000 from a nonprofit grant to help fund the Irmo Youth Zone. Quote, "Since the kids have been engaged in this program, there has been a reduction in crime. I would really like to see that study." Town workshop minutes from 1/18/22. Mayor made a motion and Dr. Waldman seconded that motion to require recipients that are awarded funds from the town of Irmo be required to submit a complete expenditure account of this report. Was it done? The same council meeting, Mayor asked for $200,000 from council for this program. The vote failed. February of '22, Heart Ed Youth Zone received $100,000, the largest donation made from the town of Irmo to the Irmo Youth Zone from the American Rescue Plan. This program that Mayor, Dr. Ross, and Dr. Johnson, as he said, came up with to help the youth in 2020, excuse me. That same council meeting, Dr. Waldman recused herself from a District 5 Foundation $15,000 grant due to a conflict of interest. I see a conflict of interest here in what the mayor is seeking. April of '23, once again, Mr. Johnson came here looking for $200,000 for this program, and when he was asked, there was no written expenditure account of how the first $100,000 plus was spent. Of a total of $340,000 that he has received donations from the town of Irmo, once again, the largest contributor, and other donors for 57 kids for a 2-hour school program comes to over $5,000 per child. With ties that the mayor has with Dr. Ross and with Irmo Chapin Parks and Recreation, Saluda Shoals, those 57 kids plus the 70 for the summer camps could have been spent better here. Then to cover the cost of $74,000 in maintenance, over $30,000 in leasing of a church. It would have been much more beneficial, and a lot more kids would have been helped, and it also would have supported our parks. I urge the council to vote no on granting taxpayer dollars to a program due to the fact that there has been zero transparency of these funds that have been utilized and distributed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Greg Pierce,
Point of personal privilege.
just a second.
There is no.
Just a second. Greg Pierce? Okay. Mr. Sickens, you have a point of personal
Yeah,
privilege?
no, just that the audio is intermittent on the audio is intermittent on the YouTube feed.
What does that mean? Okay, hold on. So is that been corrected, or are you?
I'm not sure, but I was informed that the audio is either choppy or not working on the YouTube feed. So I just wanted to make sure that staff was aware.
Okay. All right. Are we okay now? Can we continue on, or we need to stop? Can we pause the meeting until we get it straight? I'm not either. I don't know. Okay, so when we play it back on the YouTube playback, it'll be fine. Okay. All right. Great. This is I want to call up Dr. Johnson, Alonzo Johnson, from Church. And Dr. Johnson, if you would just please assure citizens that I am not a member of your church and this is not a pet project of mine. We as a council approached your church to help us with a problem in the Harbison area. And Bill, you were with me when we did that. So I don't know where that misinformation came from, but if you can just go ahead and.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and members of council and members of the community. You gave me the opportunity to talk to you last month about our proposal. I would begin and remind you of something that you would know from our previous conversation, that this program began, and our work in this community began in 2001 when we first started working with kids at Harbison Gardens, renting space to work with kids in this community at Irmo, at Harbison West Elementary School. We've stood with kids and families in this community since then at every level. That's the church. And through this nonprofit, this most recent effort, I would call your attention to the last meeting, questions that you have about how funds were expended. The town got a mid-year report, as was requested on this grant, that accounted for every cent of what was expended from the $100,000 towards this program, every cent of it up to that point, and we'll get, as requested at the end of this funding cycle, a report that finalizes it. I would just have you to recall that it was never our idea that we would start a program to become someone looking for a handout from the town. We always thought that in order to make this go, we would have to look at alternative means of doing that. You have never been a member of our congregation. You've never been on the board of the organization, Universal Improvement Organization, which is an established 501c3 organization in the state of South Carolina and with the IRS. You've not been a part of that. What we got was an opportunity to do something for kids in this community. Last year, I stood with the family of a kid who was killed there, not because it goes in the newspaper or gets recognition for us. That's who we are. That's what we do. We're not asking you and haven't asked you for anything because we needed your support to start a vision. We were licensed by DSS to do this program when most of the other programs were shut down during COVID, when people needed somewhere to send their kids. And you had someone who was willing to take a risk to give them a safe place and to provide for them when others were backing out or shut down. We got the license because we wanted to be in the space. It happened that at the same time, there was an interest from the town and from Hard Ed to do some other things. We had the space, for which we don't apologize, and instead of letting the space be empty, as many daycare centers and churches were during that time, we put it to use. We weren't looking for a handout. Check the record. Every week, when everyone else was shut down in Irmo, we were in this community, all over the community, at the police department, hospitals, all around, serving first responders, because this wasn't something that we needed. This is who we are. This is what we do. And I don't mind you making whatever, it's your decision. And we understand that resources are slim, but to suggest, and you know better, because you know what you've received in terms of reporting about what we've done, you know you have the documents, and you know what you have from us since 3 weeks ago when you asked us to give you full reporting. All we want is for you to be fair, so at least just be fair and not misrepresent who we are or what we've done, what we stand for in this community. Because at the end of the day, when this cycle ends, we'll be here. At the end of the day, our commitment to these kids will still be here. At the end of the day, when everything else dies down, we are built on a mission that's not just a flavor of the day. So I thank you for hearing me. I tried to answer all of your questions, or we tried to answer your question based on what you asked us in terms of how we would move from where we started 3 years ago at zero, 3 years ago as an idea, and is translated into something that proudly says not 2 hours a day, but 4 hours a day and 11 hours a day during the summer, feeding kids and doing a whole lot of other things, and not just playing sports and recreation. They are involved in things that are constructive. So all I'm asking you to do, all we're asking you to do, is just at least hear out what we've given to you, and anything else we need to answer, we will. And thank you for what you've given. Thank you for giving me this time to represent the children and the staff that we serve, the families. And we know that you have tough decisions, and we'll be here to support the town of Irmo, whatever happens here tonight and whatever happens in the weeks and months to come.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to address council on something we're about to, come on up. Chitwood, come on up.
Brent Chitwood, 131 Casco Bay Road. Appreciate the opportunity to speak.
What subject?
The subject is on the vote on the crime
Vote on what?
cameras.
Cameras, okay.
I don't want to overcomplicate my feelings on this. Is that there are a lot of solutions to try to deal with a crime situation and how you do it. Me, the priority is a deterrence to crime comes first. Because the crime is happening to these people now. Okay? Yes, there are other solutions that are going to help down the road. But we need a solution now. And that means cameras, that means additional police support, it means additional location of police in the areas, whatever, okay? But it's priorities. You need to do the cameras and the additional support first. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Give us your name and the subject you're going to talk about.
Name is Greg Byance, live in Hamilton Hill.
Brent?
Greg Byance, B-I-A-N-C-E, science with Byance. I was a teacher, sorry.
And you live in Hamilton Park?
Hamilton Park.
Okay.
Been there about a year. Wow. Hey, thanks. The way we got involved, we've only lived here for 3 years because our daughter moved up here. But we wanted to be in a patio home in Irmo because it reminded us the most of Inverness, Florida. Inverness, Florida is in the middle of Central Florida, small town. I knew everybody and probably taught through their parents. We come up here and it's Columbia. This is big to us, you know. And so this was the place for us to live. Went to an HOA meeting, and they worked with us real well with Hamilton Park. But then the thing is, I have a thing about looking after the little guy. My wife and I have very common thinking, and we're also doers. We're not talkers. If we say something, we do it. That's why I love effective policing, because we have seen it with Richland and you guys collaborating and doing your job. That's what we want, okay? But the problem is, and I heard a mentioning of short-term solutions, and the flock is a great short-term solution. I mean, if we can decrease crime by 40%, I think that's great. I know a manpower costs more. So would I like more Irmo police? Yes, especially on weekends, right? And I don't know your numbers. You know the numbers. I'm new here, so I can play innocent. But the thing is that we really feel that these three ladies right here, they've been in for the battle. And if you notice, they're not men, they're women. 3 women that stood strong, fought the system, which is quite often bureaucracy that we all have dealt with. I've dealt with it, and you've dealt with it all your life. And sometimes people just have to stand up for what is right. You see what I mean? And so my theme is we can make a difference. We can do this. We can be better at what we're doing, everybody. So as citizenry, we can be better by being more aware, because old people can't run anymore. And that bullet is fast. And when they come flying in their bedrooms and breaking into their houses and there's nothing that seems to stop it, that's outrageous. It's beyond outrageous. And here we are, 3/4 of a mile to a mile up on this end, nice and secure, real simple. I like it. But we see jiggling of the doorknobs. We see we have cameras that actually have been brought quite often to the Irmos. And I just bought 3 more, and I had a 6-foot fence, and I put in all these things that were things to improve the property to prevent that. But you know what? We have to look at long-term planning and short-term planning, because that's the only way you're going to get cultural changes or whatever the problems really are, deep-seated. We have to change that. I get that. But we got to do the immediate stuff. And it's not getting done sometimes, even in small towns and definitely in the city of Columbia, because we're not done with the city of Columbia. They need to share a little bit more of their money, because the money is what pays for his people, right? Or maybe it flows a little bit more than you, and I'm not. Did I hit 3 minutes?
Yeah, you're done.
It is
Thank
really
you.
tough for me, because 30 minutes is really easy. So I will stop. But the
Thank you.
bottom line is we can do better, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else that didn't sign the pad who would like to address council on any item? Okay, come on up. Ma'am, come on up. Give us your name and the subject.
Hello,
that you want.
council. My name is Charlene Young, and I live in Cape Flowery Court in Beacon Hill, and I've lived there since 1996. And I do remember in the beginning, Benji fighting for better solutions for our neighborhood. I have stopped walking trails because it is totally unsafe. I am here to support the cameras flock cameras being installed around our neighborhood and on the trails. But that's just the beginning. We need something right now. This crime has gotten so bad that I have family and friends that don't even want to come see me. Okay, also the 911 system is terrible. It's just a Bermuda Triangle that you go around and around and around and get shot and killed by the time they even find out where you're at. And that is unacceptable for the taxes I pay. And also, this is a small step in the right direction, but we also need, I think they're called shot spotters, because, you know, we're having gunshots in our neighborhood every week, and that is not safe. I want you to vote yes for the cameras. And I want to find you to find money to protect our neighborhood and to install these cameras and other things needed like the shot spotters. And also to protect the surrounding businesses that are so close to us. When people come to our area to come and eat out, you know, they are in danger too because they're right there at it. And Harbison is one of the largest money-making areas for shopping and restaurants. And we need protection, and we need it now. So thank you, council, for hearing me. But please hear that we need this now. Thank you.
Anybody else who'd like to address council? Going once? Last time. All right, we can continue on. Unfinished business. Item 9, unfinished business. Second and final reading of ordinance 2304. This is changing our local revenue relationship with the municipal government so they can collect local taxes on our behalf. Is there a motion for second and final reading?
So moved.
I'll second.
Was that Bill? Kelly? Okay. Eric? Kelly. Go ahead, Mr. Sickinger.
I think it speaks for itself. I'm in favor.
Oh, okay. Kelly?
I yield my time.
It's Dr. Wallman. Nothing. Mr. Danielson. You're good. Oh, Courtney Dennis, call the roll, please.
Sure. Councilman Bush?
Yay.
Councilman Danielson?
Yay.
Councilman Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Wallman?
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. Second, item B, second and final reading, ordinance 2305. This is to remove the word leaves from our unsightly code. Is there a motion for second and final reading?
So move.
I'll second.
Mr. Sickinger.
As previously discussed, this provides some clarity and ensures that in future generations, we won't have code enforcement officers citing people for having leaves in their lawn.
Okay, Mr. Bush.
I yield my time.
Okay, Mr. Danielson.
We'll leave the leaves out. Thank you.
Dr. Wallman.
I'm fine.
Okay, great. Mr. Dennis, will you read the roll, please?
Councilman Bush?
Yay.
Councilman Danielson?
Yes.
Councilman Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Wallman?
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. Okay. New business, item A. Last year, Universal Community Improvement Organization submitted a grant request for $300,000 to implement a program that we approached them on, helping us with the situation over in Harbison Gardens. We granted them $100,000 with the understanding that they could come back for additional grant money during our second tranche of opera money, which is here now. It's a motion to,
Point of order?
it's a motion to approve this request.
Point of order?
What is the point of order, sir?
Are you you are introducing the motion, not providing commentary?
I'm going to finish my statement and then I will. make
Point of
that
order?
motion.
Mayor, your job is to introduce the motion, not provide commentary?
Oh, okay, I'm making a motion. I'm making a motion to approve to approve this award of $200,000 of ARPA funds. And if it's not seconded, it fails, so. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Sickinger seconded. Items that we talked about earlier today, Mr. Johnson gave a full report on where the initial money went and how it went, and where his funds were spent. He was underfunded. And again, we approached him and his church to come and help us with this 4-prong, 6-prong problem in Harbison Gardens. As a result of that, the council has opportunity to conditionally fund his program so he can continue on doing what he was doing. And it has, believe it or not, it has affected not only Harbison Gardens, but the town of Irmo in specific, Irmo Village in specific. Last year, the kids were the year before last during COVID, those kids were out of school, and there would have been a lot more kids roaming the streets. And I think that the fact that we had this partial funded program, he could do the best he could with what he had, gave him an opportunity to help us with that. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Sickinger.
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I think we're on the wrong slide. But first of all, I think that it certainly would be unfair to categorize the program by Dr. Alonso and the church and the folks there as doing anything but great work. There's no question there. And they're an important part of, as you said, a multi-tiered strategy. There is no question, I don't think, at least speaking on my behalf, and I don't want to speak for anyone else, there are desire for that program to continue. However, it is a long-term strategy that's going to pay off somewhat today, but also really with an intention for it to have long-term impacts. And I think it's incumbent on the council to ensure that that program has the ability to subsist and continue on its own. So with that in mind, I'd like to make a motion to amend the approval to award $200,000, to change $200,000 to $15,000 in ARPA funds, and pay for 15 scholarships for the summer plus 1 semester after-school program, which would be based on the, let me stop there, that's the amendment. For reference, that would be $37,500 for the 15 students, plus $15,000 in a lump sum, to give them a total of $52,500.
You're amending the, keep it simple for me, you're amending the
Yeah, I'll-
100,000
yeah, I'll-
to 52,500.
Let me be clear. So amend 200,000 to $15,000 plus 15 scholarships consisting of summer plus 1 semester.
I don't understand.
Can I
I'll second.
Okay, Barbara seconded. Okay, is there any discussion on it? Barbara? Do you have any discussion on it, Barbara?
I agree with what Eric has proposed in terms of the 15 scholarships. I would like to perhaps stipulate that at least 5 of them come from or go to students at Irmo Village, and at least 5 to students at Harbison Gardens, so that they don't all go to students at one location or the other.
Okay, so, all right, Kelly?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to let them go with it. We've talked, and I think.
I can't hear you, Kelly.
I think this is a good idea.
Okay, Bill?
I think it's this is a complicated agenda item for a lot of reasons. I fully believe in this program. But as I've mentioned before and in our workshops, that the town can't afford to fund this program on an ongoing basis. And I will say thank you to Courtney for sharing us the expenditure accounting report that was sent in for the first 6 months of 2022, I believe. And looking quickly at the numbers, it's $130,000 in annual expenses. So 2 years of that would be on a 6-month prorated basis, somewhere in the $260,000. So that looks to me that the town is funding the preponderance of expenses for this program. So all that being said, I'm in support of Councilman Sickinger's amendment.
Okay. I'm not clear on what you're asking for. Is it $52,000 or is it $15,000? Can you be very succinct and specific?
Sure.
please?
So it's a $15,000 lump sum with no qualifications attached to that other than the general grant qualifications that we have for any grant. Plus, we are paying for 15 scholarships, for 15 students for scholarships.
Okay, 15 students at what number?
At, a total of $37,500, which is the cost of a fall or spring plus summer.
$37,500?
Mm-hmm.
That's $2,500 per student.
Correct.
If I could restate what.
Wait a second. 2,500 per student, 37,500, for a total of 52.5. And we didn't give him any kind of stipulation like that on the 100,000 we initially gave him, which I understand we were just experimenting. Again, I want to point out to council that, you know, Dr. Johnson was approached by this council to come in and help us with this problem. And quite frankly, you know, whether we give him what we promised him in the first tranche, if you want to go back on our commitment, that's fine. Y'all can vote to do that. But $52,500, you know, will support 15 kids, where last year he had 50, I believe it was 50-something kids. And I'm sure he's trying to grow that program. So I don't see how that number works, but we can vote on that amendment. And Dr. Wallman, you had something else you wanted to say?
I'm okay, it's been clarified.
Mr. Barton, you don't have anything? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I might get some clarity for the amendment, it was mentioned that the 15 scholarships, 5 would be defined as going to Irma Village Apartments and 5 going to Harbison Gardens. Is that the interpretation of the?
At least.
At least.
At least 5 to each of those.
Got it.
So 5 and 10 or 10 and 5. Or 5, 5 and 5.
What happens to the other 5?
They would go to other applicants in need from, say, New Friars Gate or Old Friars Gate or some other area that attends.
Irma in general. Okay. Anyway, any more discussion on the motion? Clerk, read the roll on the, will Mr. Dennis read the roll on the motion, please?
Sure. Councilman Bush.
Yay.
Councilman Danielson.
I'd like a clarification. Are we voting on the original motion?
No, we're voting on
We're
the
voting
amendment.
on the amendment first.
Yes.
Yay.
Councilman Sickinger.
Yes.
Councilman Wald, or
Yes.
Dr. Waldman, I'm sorry. Mayor Walker.
No. Okay. The motion passed. Back to the original discussion. Is there any more discussion on the original amended motion from $200,000 down to $52,500? Is there any more discussion on that? Okay, I'm going to make this comment. It's a lot less than what we promised them. It's a lot less than what they're asking for. But his program will survive. His program will continue to do what it needs to do. It is part of our approach, our 3-pronged, 6-pronged approach to bring the violence and stuff under control in the town of Irma. Whether we underfund this now, whether we don't fund it, whatever, I'm sure that Dr. Johnson and his church will continue to do the good work that they're doing. And with that, will the clerk?
Mayor Walker?
Yes, Ms. Dr. Johnson, Dr. Wallman, go ahead.
I'd just like to clarify something for the public. We did not promise or guarantee any additional funding when we funded the original $100,000. We did indicate that when we got the second tranche, we would consider more nonprofit grants after that point. So I just wanted to make it clear that we're not reneging on a promise here.
Okay, we're not reneging on a promise, a direct promise, but we're reneging on a commitment that we made that he could apply for additional monies, right? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying, Dr. Wallman? What are you saying, Dr. Wallman?
I'm just saying that we did not promise the additional $200,000 when we gave the first
You told him he
$100,000.
could come back and ask for.
Right, and he has come back and
That's what he
asked.
did. Okay.
He has come back and asked, and that's what we said he could do.
Okay, and that's what he did. And
Mr. Mayor?
Okay, got it. Who's in it? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I think what's remarkable about what's happening tonight is that this is the only organization that has received a second tranche funding. And I think that by itself reflects our commitment to the program. And While we certainly never committed to $200,000 more, what we did say was when the second tranche comes around, we will take a second look at this. And I'm glad and excited that we're able to sponsor scholarships for 15 kids and give a $15,000 capital injection on top of that. So I'm very excited that we can do that.
Okay, great. All right. Any more? Will the clerk read the roll? Will Mr. Dennis read the roll, please?
Councilman Bush.
Yay.
Councilman Danielson.
No.
Councilman Sickinger.
Yes.
Dr. Waldman.
Yes.
Mayor Walker.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Item B, this is for the purchase of cameras in certain areas in the town of Irmo, specifically Carmel Commons, Beacon Hill, Harbison Community. And I'll make the motion to approve this. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Danielson and myself. All right.
Would have preferred to make the motion since I put it on the agenda, Mr. Mayor.
Beg your pardon?
Would have preferred to make the motion since I put it on the agenda.
Well, it's a motion, it's approved, the second, go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is, thought in putting this camera scenario on the agenda was to protect our citizens, which is our number one priority sitting up here as a governmental council, is protect our citizens. And there is an exorbitant amount of crime in this area, most of which is outside of our purview, but there are some things we can do. So I want to be very specific about what I had in mind here. And when I made this, put this item on the agenda, we are looking for 2 license plate readers on Columbia Avenue, 1 facial recognition camera on Crown Point Court in the cul-de-sac, 1 facial recognition camera on Cape Flattery Court in the cul-de-sac, 1 facial recognition camera in Saddleback Ledge Court in the cul-de-sac, and 1 facial recognition camera in the Carmel Commons subdivision. The other two facial recognition cameras, for a total of 8, 6 and 2, would be along with the license plate readers on Columbia Avenue. So that would be a total of 2 license plate readers, 6 facial recognition cameras. And I certainly am willing to expand this program to other areas of the town if that's the will of the council.
Is that it? Okay, thank you, Mr. Danielson. We're proposing to spend about $25,000 for this trial period on these cameras on, I thought it was 2 streets in Irmo. You're saying it's only going to be on 1. I think we needed to include College Avenue in that, the plate recognition cameras. I know you only have 2 on Columbia Avenue, but that's just my personal approach. I think we need to have it both ways, coming up College Street as well as Columbia Avenue. There's this whole approach cannot be a unilateral approach by the town of Irmo, okay? The police department is fully staffed, at least that I know of. I think we're down 1 officer, and we just put another officer in place.
We're down 4, Mr. Mayor.
We're down 4? Okay, we're down 4 officers. So when you say the police department is not fully staffed, I think the chief is working on that as quickly as possible to get new people on board. But we do have people running around. We have people not running around. We have patrolmen on duty at night and during the day. When you dial 911 and you get to the dispatch, it does get to Irmo Police, and they do respond. They respond, I can say, a lot quicker than if you call the county and depended on the county to come out and respond. But Irmo setting up cameras is not going to solve all the crime in Beacon Hill. We need to get buy-in from the Harbison Association on the pass. Now, you propose to put cameras on streets in Irmo, Columbia Avenue, the other streets that you mentioned, which is great. I hate to break this to you or tell you that the kids or the teenagers or the young people that are breaking into our cars are walking on the paths from, I believe, from Harbison Gardens through our neighborhoods, checking our doors, and then going back on the paths to escape detection. And those are the areas we need to get cameras on also. We need to get buy-in from the Harbison Association to come up with, if it's going to cost us $25,000 for these 8 cameras, they need to put in some money on this cameras as well for the pass. Harbison Garden Complex has a quality of life problem with their leases. Their lease does not specifically tell them that if you are caught violating the quality of life standards of that community, you may be subject to eviction. They're just saying, oh, well, we can't get involved with that. We can't control the quality of life issues, and that's a problem. They can. In the other areas, in Irmo Village, they have language in their leases, which is a different complex, that says if you break the quality of life standards in that community, you can be immediately ejected. So we need to work on Harbison Gardens management as well as the owners and get them to change their lease agreements. The Lexington District 5 schools need to do pump in some help to get those students that are just basically unschooled from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 6 o'clock at night. Those students are unschooled, unsupervised, and that's when they're starting to roam their areas. That's another approach we have to get into. And as well as the area churches, I think it's very clear, and as you have seen, the area churches have done their part in trying to work on getting these students under control into the Harbison Garden area, as well as giving them something to do after school. During the summer, you got the whole day, and these students, and you're only talking about now 15 students, maybe, I don't know, from the math I'm doing here, maybe 30 students that they can support during the summer months, whereas last year they supported 50. I don't know if they can do it. I hope they can, but we hope the churches will get involved. And this is more important than anything else. The City of Columbia needs to come up financially and put money into this area, okay? You talk about shot spotter systems. That's something that Irmo does not have the resources. That's $1 million system. And that's because those shot spotters identify where bullets, when a gun is shot, where that shot came from, immediately report it to the police department or spot where it went to. City of Columbia has that technology. They have it all the way downtown in the downtown area and other hot areas that they deal with. But the City of Columbia is taking millions, and I mean millions of dollars of hospitality money out of our area, millions of dollars of business license out of our area, and they're not putting anything back into this area as far as technology, as far as funding our after-school programs, as far as investing in or even attempting to invest in any kind of security research that we saw that we need. So again, this is a 6-prong approach. Us putting the cameras on the street, us getting Harbison Association to pony up money and buy some cameras for the trails. And I'm not talking about the complete 100-mile trails of Harbison Associated. They can do that if they want. But during this qualified trial period, they need to go ahead and spend $10,000, $15,000 out of their $2.8 million budget and put some cameras on those trails so we can identify facial recognition, so we can identify these people, where they're coming from, where they're going to. And this is something we have to impress. And, you know, quite frankly, I am sick and tired of the city of Columbia cleaning out their hood and sending them all to Irmo and to the village of Sand Hills. I am sick and tired of that happening. And then they tell them, oh, well, once you get out here, well, we're not going to give you any support financially to help you get adjusted to be living in the suburbs. And they relieve it to the apartment complexes to do this. And they're not, quite frankly, they're not equipped to do all of that. They give it to our school system. Lexington District 5 school system have to deal with all these different things that they're giving us. And that's, you know, I get it. You have to have some place to live. And we want these people to come into our community and live. But we want the city of Columbia to take onus and take responsibility on what they're giving us to have to deal with. And I don't know, I'm frustrated. Bill and I have had several meetings with the city of Columbia mayor, council members. We went down there. We've had Zoom meetings with Witch Rock, the owners of the Harbison Complex, the management of Harbison Complex, and I'd be doggone if everybody is saying, we hear your problem, but we're going to continue to take the money out of Harbison and send it downtown Columbia, and we're going to continue to jack your water rates up and take the money out of Columbia, out of Irmo, and send it downtown Columbia, and not bring anything back to this area. It's time for the city of Columbia to pony up some financial responsibility to help us with this ongoing issue. And if it's a matter of buying $25,000 worth of cameras, at least do that. And Harbison Association is not off the hook either. They need to go ahead out of a $2.8 million budget. They need to participate with this trial period and allow us to make this a success and to see a reduction, or at least identify who's happening, where this crime is happening at. With that long diatribe, Mr. Kelly Bush.
I am in support of cameras. However, I don't believe in a trial. I think if we're going to do cameras in one neighborhood, that we need to spread them across Irmo. Because we have a lot of other constituents. I understand the crime problem there, but we also have crime in other areas. And, you know, I'd be in support of more cameras, more LPRs, that right across Irmo. So, I mean, I was going to yield my time to Mr. Sickinger.
Okay. Well, I'll let you. Okay. Barbara. Okay, Mr. Sickinger.
Yeah, so first of all, just for a point of information, Councilman Danielson, it's 6 cameras and 2 LPRs. Is that 8 I just want to make sure that I'm going to make an adjustment here. Is that 8 cameras, or is it 6 cameras with like a two of them have an add-on that's an LPR? 8 cameras. Okay. So the LPR is not necessary, it's not, it's the standalone. Thank you. That's where I was trying to get at. So I have more to say, but I just want to make sure we get this.
You say the LPR is not?
LPR is its own thing.
So that's a separate.
So and you do not need an additional camera for it to work. Is that what you're saying?
Can I explain?
Please.
Would it help?
Yeah.
Yeah, the LPR is a standalone camera. The facial recognition would be below that camera. It is a separate camera.
Oh, so there'll be 2 cameras on that one pole.
Okay, I feel like I need to explain exactly where these cameras are going again, because we're not, I guess we're having some misunderstanding. You sure? Okay, well.
I just wanted to clarify.
No, I understand the clarification, but my point is, I take exception to what the mayor said about breaking it to me. The reason we've got facial recognition cameras in the cul-de-sacs is to get the kids walking through the cul-de-sac and coming through the trails. So that is why there are facial recognition cameras there. LPRs will do us no good in the cul-de-sacs. So that's what the plan is. If Councilman Bush, and I said this in my opening remarks, Councilman Bush wants to add to this project, that's fine. But we need to make this decision tonight to take this step and authorize our leadership, our town administrator, and our chief of police to authorize these 8 cameras, and we could lease them, we could buy them. I got a proposal at 6 o'clock, which I shared with them. We could lease them for $185 a month per camera. There are a lot of avenues and venues we can take. But again, I appreciate the oratory, Mr. Mayor, but the bottom line is we can't do a thing about the City of Columbia, Harbison Gardens leases, all of those things other than put pressure on them. We need to do what we need to do right now for our citizens, and that's the decision we need to make. Enough with the politicking and the campaigning. Let's get it done. Because somebody in that neighborhood gets shot, it's going to hang on every one of our heads. Every one of them, and I am not going to be standing there and let that happen. So let's make this decision and get it done.
Nobody's saying we're not going to get it done, Mr. Danielson. I'm just telling you that it's a multi-pronged approach. Multi-pronged. It's not just putting up these cameras is going to solve the issue. If we don't have any backing from those other areas to get those people off the path, you know, we're going to find, okay, you found them. I got facial recognition.
I
of the person
I
that
didn't
came
yield
in.
my time, and I apologize. I certainly didn't expect this to happen when I asked a simple question.
Okay.
We
so
can
you
come
want
back
to
to it.
continue with your-
Yes, I'd like to continue, please. So what I'd like to do is make an amendment. I don't know what's going on with the microphone. I'd like to make an amendment to change 2 license plate readers to 5 license plate readers and insert the word Friars Gate after Carmel Commons, so that it should read the Carmel Commons, Friars Gate, Beacon Hill, and Harbison Community, and change 25,000 to 35,000. So in effect, what I've done is add 3 license plate readers that can be utilized in Friars Gate and change the funding to ensure that we can buy them.
About facial in Friars Gate.
My argument would be, let's see, this is still a new program for us, so let's start at that. I've spoken with, certainly not a poll of the entire police department, but my understanding is that they believe that having license plate readers at the entrance and exits to Friars Gate would be significantly helpful to them.
You're saying 3 of those over there would do it.
I'd like to second that.
Okay, you made a motion and second to amend the readings, the approval to add Friars Gate to the motion. Wait a minute. I'm just making sure he wrote it down, that's all. And to change it from 25 to 35,000. Got it? And then change from 2 to 5 LPRs, license plate readers. Got it? All right. That's the motion. Is the clerk call, any other comment on that motion? Clerk, call the roll, please. I'm sorry, Mr. Dennis, call the roll.
Councilman Bush.
Yes.
Councilman Danielson.
Yes.
Councilman Sickinger.
Yes.
Dr. Walbin.
Yes.
Mayor Walker.
Yes. Okay. Back to the original approval. Now, 35,000.
Can I retake the floor? I had the floor and I called the amendment.
What's that?
May I have the floor back?
What?
I just want to finish my thought on the actual amendment, on the actual agenda item. I think one thing, despite whatever disagreements we may have as a council up here, I think it's incumbent on us to point out that we are the ones actually doing things to solve the problem. And with the exception of Richland County, nobody else has stepped up to help. So it's been the town of Irmo from the beginning, even though we may have started off slow and tried different programs. It's the town of Irmo that's stepping up. It's not these other larger bodies that may even have more money, and for them, that this would be a drop in the bucket. We're the ones doing it. So whether we may disagree about the application of it or where things are placed, we're the ones as a council and as a town and as a police department stepping forward to actually solve this problem. And again, I should give credit to Richland County where it's due. That's it. I think you all have said enough.
Anybody else? Okay. All right. We adjusted it for $35,000, added Friars Gate in that neighborhood. And it didn't say in here the streets, but did you want to leave that open, Bill, or?
No, I'd like to, I'd like that to include the streets that I just mentioned. Now, the Friars Gates, that'll be up to you all to determine where that goes, but I think the cul-de-sacs are important. Did you get those, Court?
Okay, so Courtney, you got the streets that he mentioned?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I've got Crown Point Court, Cape Flattery Court, Saddleback Ledge, and then somewhere in Carmel Commons with the 2 LPRs and 2 cameras being on Columbia Avenue.
Okay,
And then the additional 3 LPRs in the amendment will be spread out amongst Friars Gate.
okay, then I'd like to make a motion, we add College Street to the LPRs. I don't know if we have enough cameras to do that, but you don't have enough cameras or you won't? Okay, well then I'd like to make a motion to add another LPR and cover College Street as well as an entrance to that subdivision, to the area, part of your test. I guess one camera will do it. I think one camera should do it. I don't know. Coming up College Street from Lake Murray. Somewhere. That's the motion. Is there a second? Is there a second?
I'll
for my-
second, yeah. I'll second.
So Mr. Siggins second. Any discussion about the motion?
Yeah, we'll need to bump it up from 35,000 then to, I'd make a recommendation to 40,000 to make sure that we cover any overages on some of the work that we're trying to do. And I should note, just for clarification for those who asked, when I say Friars Gate, it was directed by the police in terms of the entrances and exits to Friars Gate, which would be, it's not Friars Gate as a whole, because you can't put 3 cameras there, it's the entrance, right? Broad River and Royal Tower, Chadford and Farming Creek, and wherever the third one would be in the, yeah.
All right. Any other comments?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to point out to everybody that this won't happen next week, right? I mean, we would like these to have solar power. According to the proposal I got tonight from a local company, we have a dramatic foliage issue there, so solar may not be possible. So we're going to have to run power to these, hopefully get an agreement with Dominion to put them on their poles. So there are steps that we're going to have to take from an administrative standpoint. We also will probably have to have folks agree to have a single standing pole put in their yard in these cul-de-sacs with power to them. So there are things that have to be done. We just can't snap our fingers and make it happen. And that's what we're authorizing our leadership to do. So I just want the expectations from the folks to understand what we're doing. So Thank you.
Any more politicking? Okay. Mr. Dennis?
Yeah, so I just also wanted to mention that, I mean, we're sitting up here as a council, I think we need to leave the police department decide on specific locations on a lot of these cameras, because I don't think I don't think we're professionals. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe that.
Well, I mean, I said College Street. I mean, wherever on College Street.
Ultimately, I think in another workshop or something, we need to sit down and actually have a budget, an annual budget for this technology, you know, to continue this forward.
You're talking about going forward.
Going forward.
Long-term planning, yeah.
That's all I'm saying, instead of us onesies, twosies, but this is for now.
All right, Dr. Wallman?
Long-term approach.
I agree, we need to do some long-term planning, but tonight, I mean, I'm good with adding another LPR and increasing that budget up to 40,000 to cover everything.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, any more discussion on the amendment? Got it, Courtney?
Yes, sir. Would you like me to?
College Street?
Yep. 6 LPRs, 2 of them on Columbia Avenue, 3 of them within Friars Gate, 1 on College Street. Then those cul-de-sacs that we mentioned as well, and the budget's 40,000. And just to echo Councilman Danielson, you know, there's encroachment permits and power and other issues. So this will be a pilot to figure out all the entities we need to work with to get cameras up in our community.
Okay. So that's it. Voting on the motion. Go ahead. All in favor? Voting on the amendment, the motion that we have amended? The amendment to the motion? Okay. All right. No, the one that I just made. We already voted on that one. Can we get that right? Thank you. All right. Go ahead. Will you read the roll, please?
Councilman Bush.
Yay.
Councilman Danielson.
Yay.
Councilman Sickinger. Yes. Dr. Wallman.
Yes.
Mayor Walker.
Yes. All right. Back to the original motion, or the original approval. Is there any more discussion on that? Okay. Seeing none, will the clerk, will Mr. Dennis read the roll?
Sure.
Sorry.
Councilman Bush.
Yay.
Councilman Danielson.
Yay.
Councilman Sickinger.
Yes.
Dr. Wallman.
Yes.
Mayor Walker.
Yes. All right. It is so approved, and we'll start working on that immediately. Thank you. Item C, approval of bids and awarded to the Grace Construction Group in the amount of $300,000 for Phase 2 of the Rawls Creek Park. This is to build the bathrooms and install signs and refurbish electrical needs. Is that not that's not the giving the initial power to the garden, is it? So that you can only do that without this, right? Okay. Gotcha. Is there a motion for approval?
So move.
The second. Eric?
Second.
Mr. Danielson? Go ahead, Eric.
It's a capital cost. It needs to be done. And, you know, I drove by the park the other day. It looks good. It's really coming together, and I'm excited for this thing to be done so we can move on from this project.
Go ahead, Mr. Danielson.
I agree, this is necessary infrastructure, although the cost is painful. But we have to do it. We're well along in this, so I've looked at the bids, and this one makes the most sense. Are they not the same people who just updated our town park? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Bush.
Do we have, this is for Mr. Dennis, do we have any more major expenditures there? Or is this going to kind of wrap it up? Because it seems like every couple meetings, we got to spend more money there.
There will be a final phase that will include, you know, walking paths, some of the lighting that will go around the walking paths, some more gates for the front of the facility. You know, if the skate park is built, then we'd have to look at the parking improvements as well. So there's still a little bit left on the table.
Can we get like a ballpark someday just to have in an email so we got an idea? Because
Sure. We're looking at grant options as well for some of that funding.
I'm just looking at a $250,000 bathroom and I'm thinking there better be one hell of a shower.
Yeah, it is what it is. Dr. Wallman?
This looks like the best bid that we've gotten. I've looked at these bids, and I think this is the way to go.
Okay, yeah, we are very close to being open to the major parts of that park. The garden, as you know, is open, and they have been open for over a year now. This is going to be their first full season of planning, and as well as the dog park, as the fence is up, and they're ready to start accepting, I guess, membership to the dog park. There is a dog park meeting on Monday, and they'll walk through a lot of details. So I'd be glad to, any more comments? Anybody else? Bill? Anybody? Okay. Will the clerk read a roll on the approval?
Councilman Bush.
Yay.
Councilman Danielson.
Yes.
Councilman Sickinger.
Yes.
Dr. Waldman.
Yes.
Mayor Walker.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Thank you for that spirited council meeting. I appreciate everybody's input. Presentation by citizens. This is your opportunity to come up and tell council anything you want us to know about anything. And I have several people who have signed up here. Mr. Greg Studemeyer. Greg Studemeyer, come on up. Tell us what your name is and what you wanted to address us about.
I'm Greg Studemeyer. I have a law practice at 7478 Carlisle Street on the corner of Mosley Avenue. I didn't intend to address this, but it just occurred to me. I was aghast hearing about this crime in these neighborhoods so close to where we are. And it sounds like there's some difficulty between the city of Columbia and the town of Irmo in terms of jurisdictions and police departments and things of that nature. It just occurred to me, we got this organization called SLED. It's 6 or 8 minutes from here. You know, maybe that's, I don't know if you all have looked into that or not, but if you got a state law enforcement division that sends a number of agents down to Paladin County to address 2 gunshots, you know, they could certainly maybe help out here. But it's a rhetorical question. The real reason that I signed up to speak is, again, I know this was a really sensitive issue a few months ago, but I'm not sure that it ever got resolved. And I'm talking about the Main Street project on Mosley Avenue. I own property there. I've got good neighbors around me who are still concerned because this seems to be an open issue. I tried to research it. I'm not nearly as familiar with what comes and goes in the town as I should be, but it seems that there was a resolution passed in December that specifically addressed a Main Street project on Mosley Avenue. And then, as I understand, there was a motion that was made sometime in January to suspend that resolution. And I've got neighbors who are interested in moving forward with plans for their property. And if the most recent action that was taken was an unsuccessful motion to suspend that project, I would ask that one of you gentlemen or lady move to amend the original resolution to remove any reference to Mosley Avenue. That'll remove the cloud from that property and allow the council to look in other places to build that project. Thank you.
We'll look into that. Thank you very much. Dr. Kenley, are you still here? Johnson? Left, okay. Amy Pierce?
Once again, thank you for your votes this evening. I think they were good votes all the way around. The taxes and dues revenues generated by the residents and businesses and visitors to the Harbison-Irmo area deserve better. All the municipalities should be working together to resolve these issues of crime and 911 dispatch, with Irmo leading the way. Irmo with Richland County, Irmo with Lexington County, Irmo with the City of Columbia, and Irmo with the Harbison Community Association to ensure the public safety, to ensure safety of the public, residential, and business and school properties. Our law enforcement and emergency responders are stretched way too thin not to do so. We have the Central Park that runs through all these jurisdictions, and while Central Park is nice, it brings nefarious elements. Mayor Walker has had no problem being on Zoom calls soliciting funds for other projects. He apparently, up to now, has shown little interest in the safety of the residents that reside on and off Columbia Avenue that we call home. If he did, he would have been encouraged to do Zoom call meetings with those same individuals, insisting on the flock cameras, the shot spotters, the trail cameras to be put in place before now. An area that the City of Columbia has jurisdiction in and that borders his town. After all, Columbiana and Harbison is the last freestanding mall in the area with dining, shopping, and hotels in the City of Columbia. Is it a shining jewel or a cash cow? Either way, the revenue that this area generates warrants the safety measures that are put into place that all that live, work, and visit to this area. Mayor Walker, you know that I've been working on this issue almost 3 years to the date come May 10th, when my daughter and grandson came off that trail right after a gunfight over drugs being stolen out of a Harbison Gardens apartments. When I came to you with fear in my heart about my grandson and granddaughter and my daughter, about these trails that border our town, you could have spearheaded this issue long before now. You should have been reaching out to us rather than us having to form an army to come to you to get this done. Thank you.
After the meeting, I can address you personally if you like, but I will not do that now. What does that say? Yeah. Who? Marion Boyd, is he here? Somebody. Maurice? Well, okay, I can't read the not writing. Anybody else who wants to address council, come on up. Here's your name. Not that I don't know your name, but.
Hello, this is Gabriel Penfield. I'm like to make a motion that we evaluate the auditory system in here. It's very difficult for citizens who have to come here for court, myself included. For today, council, you've expressed some difficulty as well. That's not why I came up here, though. I own 3 businesses in the town. I also live in Carmel Commons. I'm on the board of Carmel Commons. I've taken 3 individuals from Harbison Gardens into my employment. They've stolen from me on multiple occasions. I've had them work in all 3 of my businesses. While they're in my employment, they also held up a woman at McDonald's Harbison and stole her purse. So I have tried to take a personal responsibility in helping to improve the situation. Our directives in our neighborhood not to offer employment, landscaping or painting or whatever, because it just invites difficulties into the neighborhood. I'm unaware of the meetings that you guys may have had with the ownership of the property, but I would like to encourage any kind of public policy that would make it more stringent for them to operate their business in our town.
Said he hired some kids that lived there. They stole from him, and then they okay. While they were employed, okay. Yes, Ms. Friday, you want to talk to us about something?
Y'all all know who I am, Benji Friday at Beacon Hill. This is the first time I've left one of these meetings when I haven't felt dejected. For the first time, I feel hope, and I would like to thank all of y'all for your hard work and your efforts on our behalf. It is going to be a long-term commitment. I know that. I know things aren't happening overnight, but this has been 25 years for me. So I don't expect overnight, but I do expect to see good things happen. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Anybody else didn't sign the pad that want to address council? Frazier, you want to address council? Unity and Community Event Saturday?
Why not? Very eventful evening. But I'm here, I'm trying to bring a little joy. As Dr. Walman mentioned earlier, we still gonna have the Unity in the Community / Irmo Got Talent in the Irmo Community Park at the Prisma Health Amphitheater this upcoming Saturday from 2 to 6. I must say, phone has been ringing off the hook. People still calling me last minute, still want to participate. As far as ages from 14 to 7 years old, kids that's participating. We also have some adults that wants to actually participate in the event as well. And I encourage the mayor, the rest of the council, come on out. The weather has been kind of crazy for the month of April. Looking at the weather report, said it was scattered showers, but it's going to be like 81 degrees. So we just pray that we have good weather and come out and fun entertainment and good food. Thank you.
Okay. Seeing no more comments, we don't have a discussion item, and there's no executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Just second.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? In my opinion, the chair is